It's been 7 years since Persona 5 was first released in Japan, and 6 since the worldwide debut. I think it's fair to say in those 7 years, Persona has blew up more than ever and has brought more people to pay attention to Atlas games. And it's evident in the sales numbers as Persona 5 alone sold 1 million last December after being re-released on every platform. The game has sold 8 million alone overall these years and is only going higher. Now of course that's good and all, but what about the actual game? Well, it sucks a lot. Nah, I'm just kidding. It's actually one of the greatest JRPGs I've ever played, with an overall interesting story that goes on for a hefty 80 hours on the low end, and the mechanics to do some really interesting things. There's a lot to take from this game. This game has a gorgeous art style and overall presentation, and it's no wonder why this game sold, because style really sells for this game. I mean, come on, just look at this fucking game. Beautiful animations, beautiful characters, beautiful art style, beautiful music. It just keeps going on, and it's literally not stopping this game from being one of the best, if not the best. Okay, why am I even thinking this is one of the best games? Well, you gotta understand where I'm coming from. So let's talk about the game that is Persona 5, or Persona 5 Royal, or Royale. Oh, fuck it, I don't even know what the fuck it is anymore. Persona 5 is a JRPG, as I previously mentioned, in case you weren't paying attention at all, which means you have to take turns and command your team to kill the bad guys in an efficient manner so that you can become an unstoppable killing machine. The thing is though, because of how the controllers are laid out, you can click a button to do a certain thing. You see, with most RPGs that I've played, you always have to navigate through the menus and would click attack and then a move, and maybe even a target just to murder somebody. But with Persona 5, there's no real menus to navigate unless you're using your skills. All the actions are mapped out on the buttons of your controller. Like to pick a target, you just move the D-pad to adjust it to whoever it will hit before even deciding to. This was probably done so you can analyze which is a feature that keeps track of whatever the weaknesses are of those people that you fought before. But what it also does is that it doubles as your target. So if you click attack, boom, you already hitting a motherfucker. And if you pull out the heater, you already gunning them down. You're summoning your persona, no animation like the other games. Just click the move and boom. I can't stress how much faster that makes the combat feel, because when you get used to the game and you already have a broken persona, fights feel seamless, so you already know what to do. And it all just comes together to make this really fun game. In this game, you be fighting the usual Shin Megami demons, aka the same guys that appear in every game, but of course, just like everything else with Persona 5, the demons got updated models, move animations, and even lore describing their backgrounds. To encounter the demonic beings of hell below, you'll mostly just meet them inside of other people's heart, aka their palaces, or you find it in the subways like any other human will. I guess this is kind of like Pokemon, but I mean, it definitely is different. It has its own unique designs, ones that I wouldn't exactly say it's kid friendly. This game has mechanics that are all explained through its tutorials and hints, which of course you can always access so that you can figure the game out, because I ain't gonna explain it here. But overall, the system is pretty simple with how it plays, but more complex when you get into how you can basically get more turns out of the actions that you do and maximize your damage. You can also make some crazy personas that essentially break the game so that you can put the game on a harder difficulty and make your ego blow up if you really care. Or if you're like me, you just use it to beat the game. But you know, pretty simple game, but overall the style and the presentation of the game is what carries it. With it being artistically focused, it also gives the bonus of accessibility, with Persona 5 being launched on everything like Nintendo GameCube. Seriously though, the only thing you need to play at 60 FPS and 720p is a 6050 Ti. In a world full of stupidly expensive RTX cards, the most obnoxiously priced pre-built PCs, to have a game this good in such an optimized package is, and I can't believe I'm saying this here, rare to see and greatly appreciated. Plus, with the PC ports not having that many problems, it's pretty good. I played on the PS5 of course and had no problems running the PS3 launch game. Oh god. So overall, a pretty good port and a pretty good game. Now for the story. The story of the game is kind of all over the place, to be honest. With the story of the other games being primarily focused on one thing and then just that being the entirety of the story, this game likes to explore different characters and different villains, and it leads to the bigger ending. Basically, the main character is established to be some dude who gets sued by a dude with a lot of power and money, and after getting sued you have to move to another place, go to school, you become a transfer student, and on your first day going there you meet somebody and you find out that the world's actually a messed up place, and that one of the teachers at the school that you're going to has a really fucked up mind and is using his position to have power over certain people. You and your friend, after realizing this problem, say fuck it, let's reform society, and you guys just go around try to fix these people who are in powerful positions in hopes of saving people. The game starts off with the first guy being an absolute prick, and some crazy shit happens putting the game on the darker side, and everyone gets over it, and then the party just gets all uppity about who's next. The party basically goes on a giant rampage trying to fix everybody that had any sort of power or position that would lead to them abusing people. Of course, the team goes through some obstacles and complications leading to certain members being introduced, and even a rival of sorts. I have to say though, if it wasn't Persona doing this, I don't think any other game could have pulled off this kind of story. The voice cast seriously never missed on deliveries, and even with some of the tone or messages going all over the place, it's still a fun overall game because of them. Because of the voice cast performances, I had to say that one of the best part of the games was its confidants. Because of how Persona is, one of its biggest selling points is the characters. It puts an emphasis on spending time with people who are in your party by having exclusive abilities like Ryuji's insta-kill, which ends up being one of the most broken moves in the game. With these social links, you end up hanging out with these characters and finding out about their backstories, and usually how one of their parents died and that they are an outcast. And you realize eventually that a lot of the people in your party are exactly that, outcasts. With these social links, you can converse with them and even have some decisions on what your character says to really put you there. In the story, there are a lot of dialogue options which led to me making my character just a really tired, sleepy, not social guy, kind of like this guy. Throughout the story of the game as well, when there's nothing big going on, there will be some events sprinkled in the way there to really sell you on these characters. And it's this all-in approach that Persona does throughout its entire series that really forces you to care about these characters, and it executes it to a real genuine experience. It kind of reminds me of the old rivals from Pokemon when they would just bump into you and you have to care about them for some reason, except this game does it like all the time, which is why I really love it. These characters are honestly so well done. With the variety of characters that you'll meet, you're bound to find somebody interesting. Either way, whatever you do, even if you ignore the social links, you will basically spend time with the characters in the story, and I enjoyed it, flaws and all. Overall, the Persona 5 Royal, the Deluxe Edition, Pack, Battle Pass was a pretty good revisit to a game that I played 5 years ago. And 7 years is a long time to have, you know, relevance. It's not that easy. So maybe we'll get Persona 6 by the time I'm 50. What did you guys think about Persona 5? All I know is that I've got a lot of Persona games to play through, including the dancing games.